Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever felt just, completely overwhelmed by the amount of global news hitting you at once,
Oh, absolute.
from AI strategies in Asia to sudden tragic collapses, well, this deep dive is your shortcut. We're taking a truly chaotic stack of sources today, and our mission is to pull out the critical nuggets you need.
And it is a week of extremes. Our sources cover these unprecedented crises, sudden financial downturns, and major leadership changes happening all at once across tech and sports.
It's a real study in how fast things can change, how quickly stability just dissolves.
It really is.
And if we need one sharp hook to illustrate that, the old guard collapsing while the future just explodes onto the scene, we just have to look at Brazilian football.
What's the perfect example?
The most dramatic contrast we found is Neymar, the veteran superstar, suffering a devastating torn meniscus.
And this is his fourth major injury this year, just this year alone.
While that's happening, at the exact same time, 18-year-old Estevao becomes this global sensation.
The Chelsea star, yeah. He joins this incredibly elite club. He's only the third teenager in history to score in his first 3 Champions League starts.
He's right up there with Mbappe and Haaland, instantly.
Instantly.
It's just a stunning, sudden power shift. One career is being defined by minutes missed on the pitch, and the other, a new kid, is setting historical records.
It signals a very real fight over who's going to lead Brazil in the 2026 World Cup. That tension, that pressure to perform,
Yeah,
that's really the theme for all our sources today.
that's right. And speaking of extreme pressure, let's start with the tech that's driving so much of this change: artificial intelligence.
And specifically, this furious race for what they're calling AI sovereignty.
Okay, let's get into South Korea's strategy. They are making this incredibly aggressive push for full-stack sovereign AI. They don't just want to be a chip supplier anymore.
No, they want to control the entire pipeline, from the hardware all the way up to their own native language models. They want to cut out any reliance on the US or China.
The investment numbers are just staggering. It shows how seriously the world is taking this.
Well, you've got Nvidia pouring in about $10 billion
Yeah.
for 260,000 of their new Blackwell GPUs.
And for anyone who doesn't track hardware, the Blackwell chip is, it's the next-gen unit. It's designed specifically for the massive computing power you need for these huge AI models.
It's foundational. This is the bedrock.
And it's not just the hardware side.
No, AWS is also committing another $9 billion for AI data centers there. But the really fascinating part is how Seoul is using domestic competition to just turbocharge the whole thing.
Right, the fund.
Yeah. They've put up $390 million to fund 5 specific domestic AI champions. You've got LG, SK Telecom, Naver.
And their mandate is clear: build your own Korean language models. But here's the ruthless part.
This is the critical insight. To force speed, they just eliminate the underperformers every 6 months.
Wow. So it's not just funding innovation, it's performance through like an existential threat. You start performing, the next one in line is ready to take your spot. It's a lot like what's happening with Neymar.
It is. The competitive shelf life is shrinking everywhere. And, moving from that national level down to the consumer market, we're seeing Alibaba make this huge play with their new Quark AI glasses.
Okay, the specs on these are pretty impressive. The flagship S1 model, it goes for about $536, and it has dual micro-OLED displays.
And the key feature, I think, is the swappable batteries. They give you a full 24 hours of use.
Right.
These aren't just glasses. They're fully integrated wearables. They're powered by Alibaba's own Qwen AI, offering real-time translation.
Which is huge for the global market.
Huge. And AI-generated meeting notes, voice control that ties into their whole ecosystem, Alipay, Taobao, QQ Music, it's all there.
So they're leveraging their massive digital world into actual physical hardware. It's China only for now, but they're clearly aiming straight for Meta's Ray-Ban glasses.
And at a price that's about 30% lower, it really suggests the future of personal AI might just bypass the phone and go straight to our faces.
A powerful challenge. And speaking of powerful challenges, Jeff Bezos is back.
He is. He's stepping back into an operational role as co-CEO of an AI startup he founded called Project Prometheus.
This is his first hands-on role since he left Amazon in 2021, and the money is just, well, it's staggering. $6.2 billion raised already.
And the focus is the key here. They're explicitly targeting AI for the physical economy.
What does that mean exactly?
Engineering, manufacturing, think Aerospace, cars, computers. This isn't just another language model. Bezos is betting the real money is in, tangible things.
That's a fascinating pivot. Is he suggesting that the easy wins in consumer AI, the chat GPTs of the world, are sort of done, and the real challenge is in how we actually build things?
That's what the source implies, yeah. They specifically mentioned the potential ties to his space company, Blue Origin. And he's been poaching top talent.
From where?
Hired about 100 people from OpenAI, DeepMind, Meta. He's basically building an AI dream team to work on atoms, not just bits.
So if nations and billionaires are all in on AI, what are its actual limits? I saw the mathematician Terence Tao put Google's AlphaVolve to the test.
Yeah, and Tao is, widely seen as the world's greatest living mathematician. His results were really eliminating.
So what did it find?
AlphaVolve did have successes. It rediscovered the solution for the Gerver sofa problem, and it even cracked a really tough international mathematical Olympiad problem.
But there's a but.
There's a big but.
Yeah.
Tao's conclusion was that the AI is great at finding solutions that are, quote, within reach. Things that are logically buildable from what we already know.
Okay.
It cannot, however, generate the deep, creative insights you need for the truly hard problems.
Yeah.
It can't invent a whole new concept out of thin air.
That distinction between, let's say, optimization and genuine insight, that's a perfect lead-in to what Jensen Huang was talking about.
The CEO of Nvidia.
He was accepting the Stephen Hawking Fellowship Award and talking about leadership in an age where intelligence is cheap.
He said leadership is really about service and sacrifice, and that as computational intelligence gets easier to access, the things that matter most in human leaders are
Courage,
intellectual honesty, letting go of your ego, and the ability to show vulnerability. The human stuff is what's left when the algorithms can do the easy math.
that lesson on humility and vulnerabilities are, well, it's a heavy note to transition on as we turn to the global crises this week. Crises where human systems just failed.
Indeed. We have to talk about the heartbreaking fire in Hong Kong. A tragedy at the Wang Fok Court housing estate. It killed at least 94 people.
The deadliest fire in the city in over a century.
It is. And the cause was the renovation materials. The fire just spread incredibly fast because flammable styrofoam and bamboo scaffolding on the outside of the building.
It points to a huge failure in safety oversight. I saw 3 people connected to the contractor were arrested.
They were. And it's that dark irony. The systems meant to improve the housing became the very thing that caused the disaster.
And at the same time, thousands of miles away, you had these unprecedented floods in southern Thailand.
The scale was historic. 145 people killed, with 110 of those in just one province, Songkhla. 3.6 million people affected.
The numbers are hard to grasp, but the specifics really paint the picture. Hat Yai got 630 millimeters of rain in 3 days.
The highest rainfall in 300 years. It just completely overwhelmed everything. Hospitals were submerged. The prime minister had to declare a state of emergency.
From that kind of sudden collapse, we shift to a much quieter, more insidious threat, the ghost silverfish.
It sounds like something from a movie, but it's a tiny 1 centimeter long paper-eating insect, and it is spreading rapidly across Japan. 19 prefectures now.
And the danger here is what it eats. It's targeting priceless cultural treasures, historic records, ancient scrolls.
And the terrifying part is how it reproduces. It's parthenogenetic. The females can lay eggs without any fertilization.
Which means the population can just explode.
Explode. One silverfish can become 20,000 in just 3 years. And here's the ultimate irony, which connects right back to that fire in Hong Kong.
The museums.
Exactly. The very places designed to preserve culture, the climate-controlled museums and libraries, they are creating the perfect conditions for this pest to thrive. The system designed for safety is guaranteeing destruction.
A truly unsettling thought. And speaking of things that crash, let's turn to the financial corner. The Xiaomi stock plunge.
Yeah, Xiaomi's stock dropped over 30% from its June highs. It was just a perfect storm of bad news.
Rising chip costs, reduced EV tax breaks in China.
And that fatal crash involving their new EV, the SU7, back in October.
You have to remember, Xiaomi is brand new to the electric car market. That crash was a huge test of public trust. And the real lesson here goes right back to what Jensen Huang was saying about leadership.
It does. The CEO, Lei Jun, his response made everything so much worse. Instead of showing any vulnerability, he just deflected and blamed the backlash on paid trolls.
And that sparked outrage.
Massive outrage, mass order cancellations, and the result. Xiaomi went from being a market darling to the worst performing Chinese tech stock in just a few months, all because of a failure in crisis leadership.
That failure of leadership under pressure is the perfect bridge back to sports, where performance is everything. Let's return to Neymar.
The torn meniscus, his fourth injury of 2025.
Yeah.
The numbers are just shocking. Since the 2013 season, he's missed 265 matches.
Which is?
1,429 days. Just on the sidelines. Unavailable.
And the new Brazil coach, Carlo Ancelotti, he's been very direct about what this means for the World Cup.
He's demanding continuity, minutes, and physical condition. He basically said talent isn't enough. If Neymar can't stay healthy, his legacy is at risk.
And that's the opening. Estevao is just bursting through.
Exactly. The 18-year-old's immediate success has the expert Tim Vickery declaring him the most talented player out of Brazil since Neymar. The shift is complete. One is defined by absence, the other by this explosion of talent.
Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappe is just dominating, absolutely crushing the Champions League.
A masterclass against Olympiacos. 4 goals, he scored a hat-trick in 7 minutes.
7 minutes. That's unbelievable. He's the top scorer in the competition now.
He is, and it's also about the support system. That run of goals was sparked by a magical pass from Vinicius Jr. It shows that even a dominant player relies on that team synergy.
Let's talk about 2 other massive records that were set. First, in badminton.
The mixed doubles pair Zheng Siwei and Huang Yaquan, known as Yassi, they won the National Games gold in what they called their last dance.
And that win completed their super grand slam.
Meaning they have won every single major title there is to win in the sport. They retired as the most decorated mixed doubles pair in history, 43 international titles, just incredible sustained dominance.
Speaking of historic, James Harden had a night for the Clippers.
An unbelievable night. He set a franchise record with 55 points, and 27 of those were in the first quarter alone.
And here's the unique part. Harden is now the only player in NBA history to hold the single-game scoring record for 2 different franchises.
The Clippers with 55 and the Rockets with 61. It just proves his scoring ability is adaptable, it's singular.
Now, in stark contrast to these athletes building legacies, we have to talk about the gutting of tradition at McGill University.
This is a shocking decision. McGill is cutting 25 varsity and competitive teams across 15 sports.
Track, rugby, rowing, fencing, teams with over 100 years of history. Just gone.
But wait, McGill has produced 156 Olympians. How can a cost-saving measure justify destroying a century of your own institutional identity?
It feels like short-term finances over long-term legacy, a failure of perspective, like we saw with Xiaomi.
It really cuts deep.
Yeah.
Shifting to traditions that endure. We saw a huge comeback in snooker.
Zhao Shintong won the Riyadh Championship. This was a crucial win for him, coming back from a 20-month ban for match fixing. He said he needed it to prove myself.
And then there's Buzkashi, the ancient Afghan sport. It's just the ultimate embodiment of resilience.
It's like polo.
Right, but instead of a ball, you're fighting over a 50-kilogram headless goat carcass.
It started back in Genghis Khan's era as training for his cavalry.
The commitment is unreal. The best horses can cost up to $200,000. And the riders, they don't even peak until they're in their 40s. It takes that long to master.
Thousands of fans were there, calling it a symbol of pride and unity.
And that idea of tradition and pride is a great bridge to our last section, culture and memory.
Absolutely. We had the 99th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade with those new giant balloons like Buzz Lightyear and Pac-Man.
Yeah.
A great moment of collective nostalgia.
And speaking of nostalgia, the Stranger Things finale premiered. And it hit this huge landmark for Netflix.
The first series ever to have all 4 of its previous seasons charting in the top 10 at the same time.
Those themes of friendship and loyalty are clearly still resonating.
We also saw the Budapest Ballet Grand Prix. Hungary has been this ballet powerhouse since 1884, known for blending folk dance with classical technique.
And now for a moment that really defined modern culture. November 29th, 1972.
The birth of commercial video games.
Atari co-founder Nolan Bushnell installed the very first Pong machine in a place called Andy Capp's Tavern.
And the anecdote is just perfect. The machine broke down after a few days, not because it was broken,
but because the coin box was literally overflowing with quarters.
They knew right then they had a world-changing hit. It proved video games could be a mass-market success.
And finally, bridging technology, memory, and pure emotion. Van Gogh's Starry Night.
Painted in 1889 from memory while he was in the asylum, it's this blend of observation and pure imagination.
He used those swirling brushstrokes to capture these deep emotions, turbulence, longing, awe, and he contrasted that chaotic sky with the quiet, still village below.
That tension between inner turmoil and the search for peace.
It's a powerful reminder that real art comes from that human vulnerability that Jensen Huang was talking about. It's something AI, as Terence Tao showed us, just hasn't mastered. It's still beyond its reach.
So what does this all mean? We've gone from national AI strategies and algorithms trying to solve math's hardest problems to athletes like Estevao proving the value of pure performance. It's a week of obsolescence and resilience.
Today's deep dive really shows a world in transition. New technologies like sovereign AI and Project Prometheus are challenging the old powers. But at the same time, despite these massive crises, the floods, the fires, and failures in leadership, human resilience keeps defining what we value most.
Whether it's in an ancient sport like Buzkashi or in the face of a collapsing career.
Exactly.
And as we close this deep dive, here's a final thought for you to take with you. We saw it with the Hong Kong fire and then with those ghost silverfish.
Right. The very systems designed for long-term safety, for preservation,
Can sometimes create the perfect conditions for a hidden threat to thrive and then to trigger a collapse.
So think about this. What other systems in your world, things designed for stability or comfort, might be creating the perfect breeding ground for a hidden threat that we're all overlooking?
Until next time.
Until next time.